Hey guys, it's Leah. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new, and welcome to my TBR jar. Picks my TBR for November. The last time I put my TBR in my TBR jar's hands was in September, and I missed doing it in October so much, so I wanted to make sure that I was doing it this month. And this month too, we actually have a jar. We're no longer doing it in a spooky mug, and I am so excited but equally scared because I have added so many more prompts. As always, I have my TBR cart right behind me with a bunch of books on my TBR that I am so excited to get to. Some I have been so intimidated by, and honestly, if they get picked, I am going to be terrified. But ones at this point that I feel like I need to be forced to read. So we have a really good variety, and I'm so excited to carry on all of the spooky autumnal reading in November. I think this month I'm gonna pick maybe 9 or 10 prompts as opposed to 7 I think I did last time, just because this time of year is my absolute favorite time to read anything in general, but all of the spooky autumnal books. I have so many on my TBR that I feel like I need to get to this year. Because of that, in October I have read a lot more books than I have for the past couple of months, so I feel like if we're following on from that theme, November should be the same, so maybe we'll do 10. I'm gonna have one sip of my tea, Dutch courage as you will. Okay, so the first prompt is oh no, kicking off to an absolute incredible start, a book over 500 pages. I don't even know if there are any on my TBR this month. Okay, at first glance it's not giving over 500 pages. I feel like the longest one is going to be All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. Honestly, if this is over 500 pages, I feel like I've hit jackpot, because I have been meaning to get to this for months and for so long, and it's one that I have purposely been waiting to read in like the winter colder months, and it could be time. Okay, well over 500 pages. I think it's 541 pages. To show you guys without giving myself any spoilers or spoiling you, it is over 500 pages. So okay, that was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I feel like that could have been a lot worse. We'll be reading All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. Finally, I'm really excited. And the second prompt is going to be, oh my god, I feel like this one is a big one, Spooky Season. So a book that gives off spooky season. Okay, I love this prompt. I feel like many of these give off spooky season. I feel like we could do, honestly, to be honest, absolutely any of these. I feel like I purposely put a lot of really autumnal books on this because obviously I want to stick to like an autumnal TBR. So this is just like a free pass. But I'm kind of terrified that I got this one on the second go, because what if I need it for something else later? Spooky season. I feel like we could do The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore, just because it's one I've been seeing everywhere, and right now everyone and their mum has read it, and I need to know what it is about and how all like the cozy vibes are just gonna make me feel. I've just heard it's basically Gilmore Girls, like Luke, Lorelai, and I need that in my life. We could absolutely do this one. Same with You Again by Kate Goldbeck. Another one that I've just heard so many incredible things about recently. I think this is a romance kind of inspired by When Harry Met Sally, so like autumnal New York. I feel like I need that. We could completely flip that and do like The Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I've been really wanting to read this one. Or even maybe like a horror haunted house, A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. There are just so many that I could choose for this, but I think I'm gonna go The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana, just because one of my really good friends has very recently read it and is raving about it, and she's been trying to convince me to read it, so I feel like I need to. And the third prompt is gonna be no, because I know which one I need to pick. A book I've been putting off for the longest. I've been putting it off for a reason. I feel like there are only 1 or 2 books that I can pick for this on this TBR, but I feel like there is one that the majority of people will want me to pick. Do I pick that one? Okay, so the first option we could do is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I have had this on my TBR, I think for like 3 years now, and I've reached the point that if I do not read this spooky season, this autumn or winter, I'm gonna have to unhaul it, because it has been so long and I keep telling myself every year that I'm gonna read it, but I never do. I feel like it has to either be this one or If We Were Villains by ML Rio. I have been absolutely terrified to read this for years. I feel like I've said that a lot recently in all of my videos, because it is that time of the year and I do have plans to read it. That doesn't mean I'm any less scared, and honestly at this point I need to be forced to read it. So if you have read this book and you love it, please tell me that, because I need convincing. But yeah, I think we have to go for If We Were Villains by Emma Rio, because I do have plans to read it this month, hopefully, or now actually this month, absolutely, because the TBR jar decided so. I'm very intrigued, I'm very scared. I feel like I'm going to love it, but I feel like there's a chance that I could also hate it. We'll see. We're gonna do this one. Fourth prompt is gonna be, I feel like, okay, it just fell out of my hand. It's a short one, a person on the cover. Okay, a person on the cover. I feel like we have, again, so many that we could do. Obviously, My Best Friend's Exorcism, people on the cover. Again, we could do You Again, because people on the cover. I suppose we could also do The 7-Year Slip, because there are 2 people on the cover there, although like their faces aren't on it. One that we definitely could do, which I have been dying to read and only recently actually got my hands on it, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Obviously there's people on the cover. This is so hard because I want to read all of them. I don't know which one to pick. Okay, so I think the smartest choice, because we just spoke about it, was My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, because it's been on my TBR for so long. It's one that if I don't read this year, I'm absolutely needing to unhaul it, because it's been so long. At least 4 people on the cover, so I feel like we need to go for this one, because it's also not one I necessarily want to read in December for like the festive vibe. We're gonna do My Best Friend's Exorcism. Let's see if I actually ever get around to reading it, hopefully. What number are we on? Okay, we're on number 5, so the 5th prompt is going to be, I picked that one up with no hesitation. This one is a 1-word title. Okay, 1-word title. I don't know if we have any. Oh my god, do we actually not have any? Unless I'm being stupid, The Hotel has 2, We Spread has 2, Modern Divination 2, Bookshop. Oh my god. We don't have any. What do I do? Do I look on my shelves and see if there is a 1-word title on any of them, or do I just repick? This has never happened before. What do I do? Okay, do you know what? I feel like as I just turned around then and I looked at my bookshelf, there is one book clear as day that is a 1-word title. Let me show you. I literally just look up. I feel like that's the universe telling me that I need to finally read that, and that is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I don't know, I feel like that was the universe telling me that I needed to read that. This one was on my, I think, was it September or October TBR? It was on one of them, and I haven't gotten around to reading it yet, so I feel like I should probably put it on this TBR too. But it's not one that I necessarily planned on reading in November, but I guess maybe it's time to. I know the sequel has also recently come out, but I'm scared to read this one because I've seen so many mixed reviews. It's a book that I have seen a multitude of people absolutely adore and rave about, but also a lot of people not be obsessed with it, and I want to be obsessed with it because it's gothic. Yeah, a deliciously deadly gothic romance. I believe it's also a YA fantasy, and I have really been in a big fantasy mood lately, especially if it's got anything to do with the gothic or has a romance element. So I feel as if this one should be picked, and I mean, I don't think the universe could get any more clearer than giving me a 1 title without even moving. Okay, we're gonna do Belladonna by Adeline Grace. So halfway through, and we can now pick 5 more. We're gonna pick this one, which is, ooh, I'm Scared to Read. I feel like this could be, wait. I feel like this could be interpreted in so many different ways, because there are a couple of books on here that I have had on my radar for so long, like upwards to a year, that I have wanted to read so bad but have been incredibly intimidated by. But also, am I scared to read them as in they're going to be horror? I feel like I'm going to be terrified and scared to read them. Which one do I go for? I feel like my most genuine answer to this question would mean that I have to read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, because I'm scared to read this solely because of the hype. Obviously this is one of the most loved and spoken about fantasy books of the year. A lot of people are saying like it's on there with Fourth Wing, which I absolutely loved. And although I know it's going to be different to Fourth Wing, I believe it is academic rivals. I think they have that kind of trope where they are talking between letters, but I don't know if one of the characters is aware that they are talking to their enemy, and that is one of my favourite tropes in anything ever, let alone with like a romance element. So I feel like this book, there is no chance that I am going to dislike it, but I'm so scared that I'm going to, because so many people love it. So I feel like if I'm being honest to myself, it will have to be Divine Rivals, because I have just bigged it up in my head so much to the point I'm intimidated, but so excited to read it. If you have read this one, please let me know what you thought about it. I feel like it's another one that, not that I'm gonna need convincing to pick up, but I'm gonna need that little push to finally do it, because I've been waiting for months and for so long ever since it first came out. Let's do Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, finally. So we have 4 more books to add to this TBR, and I feel like I want to read all of these, so I'm quite scared as to what's actually going to come out. The 6th prompt is going to be, okay, I picked another really small one, and it is award winner. Any of these won awards? I feel like we're going to have to go towards the more maybe literary fiction, like We Spread by Ian Reid. Has this won any awards? I can't see any. Oh my god, I feel like we're gonna hit another blank. A Haunting on the Hill. I know this is a really recent release and it's deemed as like the sequel to A Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, and I'm a huge fan of that book show, of Shirley Jackson in general, so I'm really anticipating to love this one, but also I'm quite scared because it's a really new release. I don't know if it would have won any awards yet. I don't think that any of the top ones have. Did The Housemaid actually win the Goodreads award? Again, I'm worried that none of these have won any awards. The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Okay, it should not be this hard to find if it won any award. Okay, no. So The Housemaid was nominated last year in the Goodreads award. It didn't win, so that doesn't work. Okay, so as far as I'm aware, none of these have won any awards, so I think I'm honestly just going to have to repick, which is annoying because we nearly have had to do that twice. So for this month we're gonna have to scrap award winner, and we'll just pick, is it our 6th one? It's our 7th, so we're just gonna have to pick our 7th one again, and we'll go for this one. This one is Boyfriend Pick. This is fun. He is at work at the minute, so I don't know how quick he's gonna reply. Let's see if he's gonna answer. Hello? I'm doing my TBR jar video.
So I'm part of the vlog.
Yeah, it's filming right now. Do you want me to give you one of the ones that are on my, or like, should I show you the cart and then you pick whatever one you want?
There you go.
So that is the cart. What one do you think I should read?
The Glutton.
The Glutton? That one?
Yeah, that looks sick.
I was not expecting him to pick this one, and I'm not gonna lie, it's fine. It's what he decided, so we're reading it. So the book that he chose was The Glutton by A.K. Blakemore. This was proof. It did come out in September. I've been really keen to read a book by A.K. Blakemore. They wrote The Manningtree Witches. It is a book that has been on my radar for years, but shock, I still haven't gotten to it, but this one is their newest release. And honestly, I have heard really good things about it. I don't know 100% what it's about. It might be witchy. I think it's set in like the 18th century, which is absolutely a vibe, but I honestly was not expecting him to pick this one. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this. This could be a very pleasant surprise. Okay, so to give you an idea as to what it's about, on the blurb it says, The Glutton is an electric, heart-stopping journey into a world of tumult, upheaval and depravity, in which the hunger of one peasant is matched only by the insatiable demands of the people of France. That didn't give as much as I thought. I mean, it's set in France in the 18th century. That's all I know. I'm excited, also a little bit skeptical. I'm really intrigued to see how I'm gonna feel. So we also have The Glutton, and our 8th prompt is going to be from an author that I've never read from before. I feel like there are so many on here that I've never read from before, which is incredibly exciting. So I feel like we could choose any for this. And honestly, because I know I want to read it like so bad at the minute, I feel like I'm either going to go for A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. Oh my god, wait, I was going to say The 7-Year Slip, but I have read The Dead Romantics. I read it last month. Same with The Housemaid. I have read a Frida McFadden before. Okay, there aren't as many as I thought there were going to be, but I feel like we still have a good variety. Do you know what I also really want to read? The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brianne Randall, who I definitely have never read anything from before, and I know this is witchy. I don't know. Okay, so because I keep gravitating towards it, I'm just gonna go for A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. Obviously have not read anything from this author before. This is the sequel to A Haunting of Hill House. I think like the Shirley Jackson Society have deemed it as if there was ever going to be a sequel, it is this one. So Elizabeth Hand was given the pleasure and the privilege to write the sequel of A Haunting of Hill House, which is an insane thing to be given and to have that opportunity, and I really am just so intrigued to see how they've executed it. I feel like it's one that I'm either gonna absolutely adore or I don't know, because I am a huge fan of Shirley Jackson and The Haunting of Hill House and so many of her other books that I'm gonna be a little bit skeptical naturally. But on the back there are so many incredible reviews, so if we're going by those, I feel like I should absolutely love it. I am so intrigued. It's one that ever since I did get my hands on, I have just been dying to read it. I don't know if I then just said that I have 2 more left to pick, but I now have 2 more left to pick. We have picked out 8. Okay, so we have a bunch of construction around our flat, and one of the builders, because they're starting to take it down, has just walked past my window, and like my window is a whole wall. He saw me filming and then he stepped back. I feel so awkward. But you know what? We're just gonna have to carry on. Maybe I should ask him to pick me a book to read. The next one, I feel so awkward. Okay, the next one is going to be 2 colours on the cover. I feel as if this is gonna be a little bit hard. Oh my god, we have so many colours there. The 7-Year Slip, I mean, could we argue that that is only 2 colours? Because white is technically a shade. I would say they're 2 different colours of orange and then blue. I feel like that's kind of cheating. Midnight is the Darkest Hour, I feel like is the most like having 2 colours on the cover, because we have the blue and then like the moon is this kind of like bluey white, if we're going by white being a shade, which I feel like for this prompt we kind of have to. And then yellow for the author's name, and then like the quote here. I feel like this is the closest. Yeah, I feel like this is the closest that we're gonna get. So we're gonna have to go for Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. As I said earlier, have read In My Dreams I Hold a Knife, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. I was honestly a little bit disappointed because everyone had hyped it up to be like one of the best thrillers ever written, one of the best dark academias, and that was not my experience of reading it. So I'm really intrigued to see how I feel about this one. I know Ashley Winstead has range, like I know she's recently come out with a romance book too, which I'm really intrigued to read, and something about a housewife, and I think it's to do with cults, which I definitely also want to read. But this one I don't actually know too much, but I know it's more like thriller, and that is definitely what I've been craving recently. Are there vampires? That's all I needed to know. Okay, and now we're on to the final prompt and the final book that I will be reading in November. And I think we're gonna go for this one, whatever this one is. And this one is a book with a 5-word title. I really didn't make these easy for myself. I know that Once Upon a Broken Heart is 5 words because I've had this prompt in, I think, my September video, and I said that I could have picked that one, but it is one I'm going to do a buddy read with one of my best friends, and I don't know when she's going to be ready to read it, but it's one that I definitely want to read before the end of the year. I fear that this is the only one I can pick. I have been so intimidated to read this book because everyone loves this series so much, and I don't know if I'm ready. I feel like I'm gonna have to pick it because it's the only one with 5 titles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Shit. Okay, in that case, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I'm gonna have to try and convince my friend to read it with me in November. I'm terrified. I definitely want to film my experience reading this somehow. Maybe I'll do like a whole read of the series. Potentially that could be fun. It's happening. The Once Upon a Broken Heart. Okay, so these are the 10 books that I am going to be reading in November, picked for me by my TBR jar. To go through them again, we have My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, If We Were Villains by ML Rio, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mundana, All Roads Lead to Here by Mariana Zapata, The Glutton by A.K. Blakemore, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, Belladonna by Adeline Grace, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead, and then finally A Haunting on the Hill by Elizabeth Hand. I feel like this is a really solid TBR and perfect, honestly, to continue like my autumnal spooky read. So yeah, I'm honestly very happy with these. I feel like a lot of these are confronting. Either I've been so excited to read them and I've just been putting them off for whatever reason, or I've been intimidated to read them. They're all finally happening. and I'm scared. If there are any books in this list that you would like to see my experience reading of, or like any reading vlogs, please let me know and I will definitely try and get around to doing that. Also, if you have read any of these, feel free to let me know what you thought about them, whether you liked them or you disliked them, or which ones you think I should prioritize. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I love doing the TBR jar picks my TBR videos. I definitely am so excited to do it for December with all of my like festive romances and really festive reads. I cannot wait. But yeah, as always, if you did like this video and you are not subscribed and you would like to see more content from me, it would mean the world to have you here. Also, don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, for being here and for spending some time with me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again very, very soon with another video.